Hey everyone! In today's video we'll be jacking up the front end of a 2004 Infiniti G35X. Stay tuned. So for all you Infiniti G35 fanatics out there, you probably recognize that this car does have the aero kit on it. And it came from the dealer with those things intact. So it's got the front bumper cover, the side skirts, and the rear valance. Now this car is in really good mechanical condition, but it does have a bad wheel bearing on the driver's side, so I'm going to replace that, which entails, of course, jacking up the front end of the car, which is what I'm going to be covering in this video. The wheel bearing replacement I'll actually do in a separate series of videos, so stay tuned for those. Now, since I don't have a low profile jack and the front end of the G35 is pretty low to the ground, and that jack point also is pretty far under the car. I'll show you that a bit later. What I had to do, because I wanted to change the wheel bearings with the car facing out of the garage, I backed the car into the garage and then I put a couple strips of tape down on the ground where the tires landed. Then I pulled the car forward a couple feet, put down a couple wood planks where the tape was on the floor, and then I backed the car slowly up onto the wood planks, as you can see in this picture here. Once I got the tires up onto the wood planks, I set the parking brake, and then I chalked the rear wheels. And I put the chocks behind the rear tires. I know some people like to put chocks on either side of the tires, but I felt comfortable just putting the chocks behind the tires since I'm on a flat level surface. Here's a diagram from the factory service manual that shows the jack points. And you can see there's a front jack point and there's two stand points circled in green. Here's a picture of that jack point under the car. You can see it's a few inches behind the oil pan, so it's pretty far under there. Alright, so I'm jacking up the car now. I've got the jack on the jack point. And at first your handle's not going to travel very far. And then as the car gets higher in the area, it'll travel more. You can see here I'm checking to make sure that the car is still on the jack point before I continue. So I'll go ahead and keep jacking the car up to the height that I want it so I can change out the wheel bearings. Alright, so I'm going on the driver's side and putting a jack stand in, and I'll show you the passenger side in a bit here. It's a little more access on the passenger side. Alright, so here's a better view of that jack point under the car. You can see it's right behind the oil pan there. It's pretty far under the car. Alright, so I'm on the passenger side and I'm showing the pinch weld where I'm going to put the jack stand. I just pointed to it. So here are my jack stands. These are Craftsman Professional 3.5 ton. And you can see there's a little cup in the center so I can miss that pinch weld and not crush it. Additionally, what I decided to do is go and find some jack stand pads to put on top and protect the underside of the car. So I went to Harbor Freight and I found these. And actually they perform pretty well. You can see on the picture in the lower right hand corner there, they have a few ears on them that grasp onto the jack stand. One other set of jack stand pads I bought did not have those ears, and I did not feel comfortable using those, so that's why I bought the Harbor Freight jack stand pads. I'm not sure how long these will last, but they seem to perform pretty well on this job. So I'm showing the jack stand in place on the passenger side, right where the pinch weld is there. And I haven't lowered the car down just yet. I just wanted to make sure I got the jack stand in place there. Now I'm going to go ahead and lower the car down. And then I'm going to check again to make sure that the jack stand is exactly where I want it, and it looks really good. So I'll lower the car down further to take the weight off the jack and put it on the jack stands. So that's the driver's side there. As an extra safety measure, you can put your wheel under the pinch weld there. That's something I like to do. I also like to leave the jack in place. On this car, it's pretty far under there, so you're going to also have to leave the handle on.